So let's take a look at the for loop in depth a bit. Oh, actually, let's go ahead and store this as Python file, because otherwise it's going to be silly. Okay, so we've already seen the for loop, and I basically explained it as thus for things. We say for something over here in range 5. And if I say, and then colon. Okay, just had to terminate that. Okay, so for something, and notice I just mashed on the check on the keyboard over there. Print 7. This is just going to print out whatever's indented in there 5 times. So print 7, print apple. Okay, so we could put any letter we want there. We can put an underscore, which actually, when used as a variable name, is very special because you can't really access it. It's a great way to just, repeat something. But technically, the way a for loop works is that the syntax is this. Whoops. Yes, it's totally blank. Great job, Andrew. All right, that was a great copy-paste job. For the loop variable name in our sequence. So actually, range over here is a sequence, just like we've learned in other things. So let's just go ahead, and this is the kind of thing you can do in Python. Let's print out what range 5 is. Range, oh, that's super useful. It gives me, it prints out range 0, 5. Actually, it's super special, super advanced Python stuff called a generator. I make it sound harder than it is. It's just something I can't really talk on because we don't even know about functions at this point. But suffice to say, in former versions of the programming language, range essentially was a list defined by the values you put in. But it's easy enough to think of range as a sequence for right now. So for everything in the sequence, you do the like. So, how does that change how we use this for I in range 10? Absolutely not, right? This is the same as saying, by the way, as we've mentioned in the past, start at 0, go up to, but don't include 10. So this will give us the values 0. This ranges over the values 0 through 9, right? Similar to the slices, right? So, but that does mean we can actually do things like this. If it's a sequence, we can go over it. So text is equal to apple and banana. For letter in text, print letter. So we went through and we printed out APPLE space AND. So for thing in text, print it out. Right? For range, it's just simply creating a range of numbers for us. But for letter in text, super useful. Now let's go ahead and say words is equal to text.split on spaces on a white space. So now we basically have, if you remember from our last chapter, this is going to do print words, apple and banana, right? So for item in our words, print item. Apple and banana. So already we've seen basically, we have 2 ways now to use a for loop. The first is the way that you've been introduced to in previous lectures, which is just basically repeat this some number of times. For blank in range I, or let's go with 10, basically says whatever's indented inside here, do that. Whatever's indented inside here, do it the number of times that's in range. Okay, for here, what we're saying is, for whatever's inside, for each letter in our text, do whatever is printing, do whatever's in here, indented inside here, and that could use letter, it could not use letter. It's perfectly fine. And it also applies the same for lists. So, for loops are these really powerful iterative statements, and in other words, they just simply repeat again. They repeat until they hit some terminating condition, which is typically they get to the end of this, which is they get to the end of the sequence. So here, once it internally counts up to 10, it stops and doesn't go any further. So it goes up to, but does not include 10. Next, for letter in text, print the letter. Next, for words, for item in the words, print the item.